Well, a new photo exhibit in New York City has a lot of people talking. Photographer Ellen Jacobs spent 4 years photographing dozens of nannies and the children they care for in her series called Substitutes. She says, quote, "I live on Manhattan's Upper West Side here. The women pushing the strollers are almost always black and the children white. I wondered why. My work explores the social, racial, and economic relationships that powerfully affect life and largely go unnoticed. My images are about the things that seem natural but aren't." Ellen Jacobs joins me now. Her exhibit is on display at the Soho Photo Gallery through February 1st. Thank you so much for joining. Obviously, I saw the pictures, I'll be honest, on Huffington Post, and it caught my attention. I wanted to explore this more. And one of the first things that jumped out to me where you said these images are about things that seem natural but aren't. What does that mean?
Well, I think that we expect certain things in life, and we expect our children to be taken care of by nannies, and we expect, when we look at the strollers, when I was on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I would look at strollers that have white children, and I would look up and I would see people of color, we feel that that's natural. But is that really natural? Is that where race is in America? Is that really where we should be? And it really got me to thinking. Most people don't talk about the fact that the nannies who take care of their children are people of color. And when I spoke with the nannies, and when I spoke with the moms, all of them said race didn't matter. But I started thinking, if race doesn't matter, why does this racial divide persist?
But when you say something is not natural, the assumption then you are saying is that it is unnatural, and that could then be applicable to a black teacher that teaches a white kid, or vice versa, or a black family who adopts a Hispanic child, or a white family who adopts a black kid. So to our eye, if there is love, then that would be natural, right?
Well, I agree with that. If there is love, and what I found was a lot of love in the pictures. And I think I'm speaking more of my photography as a whole. And when I say things that aren't natural, it's what we expect to be or what we think will be. But I believe that many people think that the woman pushing the strollers, the nannies, it's fine that we have this racial divide, that we have this economic divide, and that that's all well and good, and that that's the way things should be. And what I do as an artist and as a photographer is I raise the issue, and I wonder, is this really the way things should be? Why don't I see black children being pushed by white nannies? And I've gotten some feedback on Huffington Post, and I've read some of the comments where people say, I selected these woman, but I didn't.
The answer to I would assume the reason that you don't see black parents with white nannies is economics.
Right.
Because many of the people who are able to afford a nanny, economically speaking, since you so focused on New York City, would be affluent white. Right? Okay, so then you have a mom who's taking their child to a daycare, which is a more affordable way to find a child for care. That would be a more middle income, lower income, and so you're looking at that disparity there, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, but I think you're also raising the issue is why aren't there more black middle-class families in New York on the Upper West Side of Manhattan putting their children, or upper middle class, having their children have nannies? Why don't I see more of that?
So you're looking at a broader economic question as opposed to this dynamic of nanny and who they are caring for.
Yes.
Right. So the other issue I think a lot of people have when they saw this imagery is the assumption that these women are not happy in their jobs as a caregiver, and you explored that as well. Did you have a chance to talk to many of these women and find out?
I did, and the women actually do love the children they're with. And what's really interesting about the comments is many people bring things to the photographs that aren't in there, and they bring their own experience. So I never say, and the photos I don't think say, that there isn't love there. And there is a lot of love. The nannies love the children as if they're their own, they often said. The children love the nannies. The parents love the nannies. Everybody seems to really love each other.
And you also explore, at least you want people who see this exhibit to also look at what is or is not being paid to some of these nannies. In some cases, there's no, obviously, health insurance, there's no pension, there's no long-term plan, there's no job security for some of these people who care for children of the affluent, and that they can be fired at any time. That is not the sole case. There are people who are fair, but there are many others who are not.
Well, I think this is also part of the underground economy. And what's very interesting to me is that we have our children, who are our most important resource, and yet we haven't come up as a society for a really good way to care for them while people are at work during the day. And that's really the issue here. So race and economics come into it, but that's the main issue.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us. I think it is a thought-provoking series, and it does bring up a lot of emotions and feelings when you see those pictures and a bigger conversation. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you
Really
very
appreciate
much.
it.